years ago today, my dad passed away, unleashing a chain of events that I never could have expected right at the start of COVID. The story I'm about to tell you is not for sympathy or for any other reason than to illustrate to you that life is crazy and you can do whatever you want to with it, as you can't predict the future, but you can work to make it better. Why should you limit yourself when you never know what tomorrow will bring? So like I said, 3 years ago today, my dad died. I had all sorts of strange feelings in my stomach that I'd never felt before, but I chalked it up to grief from loss of a parent. I took 3 days off of work, and the day I was supposed to go back, Michigan shut down. We were in a lockdown, so I wasn't going back to work, which meant I had even more time to think about my grief. And these crazy feelings in my belly wouldn't go away. One night while I was sitting on the couch, my husband was at work, and I felt a gut punch. I mean, it literally felt like I was being punched in the gut. And I saw my stomach move, and I realized that this was not grief. But because I was told that I would have to have hormone intervention in order to have kids, I literally thought it was more likely that a giant parasite was living inside of me. I headed to the pharmacy and picked up a pregnancy test. And when I got home, it lit up. I didn't have to wait. It immediately said I was pregnant, which was crazy because a few months ago when I had stopped getting my period, I took multiple tests and they had all come back negative. So in addition to being told I would have to have hormone therapy, having a bunch of negative tests implies that you're not pregnant. We hadn't been planning on kids, so it was a bit of a shock for us. The next day, I went to my OB. And because of the lockdown, my husband couldn't go. I couldn't even have him on a video chat. I literally had to mask up, lay down, and take in all of this insane news on my own. The ultrasound tech turns to me and shows me and says, "You're 30 weeks. And I almost fell off the bed. I didn't understand how I could not know for almost 7 months that I was pregnant. And I'll be honest, looking back, there are some signs that would have indicated to me that I was pregnant. I chalked them up to stress. My dad was dying. I was working a horrible job. And I'm a planner, so I immediately go into planning mode. We're supposed to move into a new house that we bought in about 8 weeks. Now I have to figure out how I'm going to pack everything up. I'm not going to want to be packing when I'm 8 and 9 months pregnant. We tell our family, and I made an Amazon registry and just threw it out in the world. Many of our friends learned because we posted on Facebook about it. But about 10 days after I found out, I was having some issues. And the next night I realized that my water had broken and I was having contractions. We went to the hospital. They confirmed that I was in labor, and they sent me to the maternity ICU. They then tried for 36 hours to stop my labor. Their number one goal, because I was at 31.6 at that point, was to get me to 32. It became clear after 36 hours that it was not stopping. I got my epidural, I gave birth, and then I watched them roll him out, and I didn't even get to touch him for 3 hours. I didn't get to hold him for 3 days. This baby that I didn't know existed when my dad died 19 days before was now suddenly here, and I didn't know I could love anything, anyone, as much as I loved him. And he spent 5 weeks in the NICU, which is a lot of time to sit and think. Only reason I'm telling you this whole story is because life is fucking short, completely unpredictable. Why would you choose just to not try, not put effort in, knowing that you can actually change your life if you want to?